Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Simon on the Sofa. Simon on the Sofa, making my way around beautiful, wonderful, magnificent people and exploring how we can communicate more transparently, more authentically, and co-create and birth new ways of being and living our truths. And along this path, it led me, as some of you will well and truly remember, to the New Earth project when it was first arising, and then into meeting the founder of the New Earth project, Sasha Stone. And we've had a number of conversations now, which I hope some of you have digested. And I've been trying to catch up with some of the other your team and the co-creators of that wonderful vision. And today I've managed to get Greg Paul. So welcome, Greg.
Simon. Delighted to be here. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, really delighted to. So yeah, we're just going to dive in. You all know by now how these conversations are. They're just a show up and tune into what's happening within us, and then just see what comes through. There's a few questions I do have for Greg, just from my own curiosity, because I love these conversations to really explore what's evolving right now and what's emerging on the planet as new ways of living and coming together. So I think, Greg, it'd be lovely if we just start with, because even for people that might find this first video and don't know anything about you guys and never watched or heard of Sasha Stone, it'd be nice to maybe for you just to share, the New Earth project in your words, and how it's merged into the vision, or how it continues to grow the vision of New Earth Nation, please.
Yeah, sure. I mean, for us, this New Earth it's already here. It's already come. As you open your eyes, you look around, you can see the perfection in everything. If you just take the time to look, and so there's this sense and a drive that comes in each of us when you start to really wake up to the truth of reality that's around us, and that drive is simply to share. And I think that's principally what New Earth is, as much as anything else. There's all these disparate efforts around the planet to create meaningful change, and there's tens of hundreds of thousands of groups and organizations that are working towards trying to make the world a better place, but they're disconnected. There's no unified effort, and if there is ever to be any a truly enlightened mankind and a truly peaceful planet Earth, then it's going to take us coming together and uniting as one, as much of a cliche as that may sound. The New Earth was really conceived to be the platform which you know. We're not after some, it's not global domination here that we're after, just to be an open platform that's completely impersonal and that unites all other efforts. And so, I mean, there's other ideas that sit behind that. I mean, you look at the problems we perceive as facing humanity right now, and if you look at each of them, and boil them all back to first principles, they all really boil back down to the fact that individuals, as men and women, we will happily give away our power to other people. Let other people tell us what to do in all areas of our lives. Like there's the middleman has taken over everything. There's teachers or a government through a network of teachers has hijacked our learning. The same structure through a network of doctors and health practitioners has hijacked our health and well-being. The same thing applies to every aspect of our life, whether it's lawyers, healers, and teachers are the principle three, but it applies to everything. And the way we've been wired and conditioned is to give that out. Sorry, Simon, I'm just hearing a little bit of an echo. I find it quite difficult to
Yeah, that's good. Let me just check something for you, because I like how you're explaining this, and I think the line drops in and drops out sometimes, and then you get an echo. Just talk now and see if it's still there.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Can I get
Okay.
some headphones? Can I get some headphones?
If you've got some headphones, that would be really great. Yeah.
2 seconds.
Take time, no worries. I'd do like an interlude for the people watching. This is to the live viewers out there. This is your interlude dance. Ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba, ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. It's the interlude dance. Why Greg gets his earphones. Earphones are coming to you. Welcome to the live viewers, because it's early morning if you're listening in the UK or in Malta or anywhere else. Greg's over in Bali, and it's, I think, well, it's about 5 or 6 o'clock over there, I think. Yeah. So, how you doing? Just let me know, Greg, and I'll put you. The camera was messing around a bit as well, so I'm just manually doing it from this side. So just tell me if when you're ready.
Well, still, I can't get these things working, but I'll just carry on as we were.
Ah, really? Did you plug them in and they're not working?
I have to listen to my own voice. I'm sure
I'll
manage to.
Yeah, but I don't like it. I think we can rectify it, Greg, because I don't like it when that happens for me, because it just completely puts me off.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm not drinking a pint of beer, by the way, at 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. it's a pint of green tea. Just for the viewers out there, you beautiful viewers that come and enjoy these conversations. I'm going to let me do something here with my sound and just make sure it's not coming from my end.
No, for some reason, none of the headphones are actually working. It's still coming out of the computer.
You still have it, yeah? You there, Greg?
Aha. Okay.
Because you know also you can do something at the top of your screen. You know, you adjust the sound at the top on settings.
Yeah, I've just realised now that if I turn this volume here down, it may actually make a difference. But it's not doing it. I'm just checking if I can hear myself now. Looks pretty good to me.
Yeah?
Yeah, happy days.
Wonderful. Okay, so thank you. Yeah, I don't edit these, so for people staying with us, thank you for staying with us through that little dancing interlude. And basically, yeah, carry on. You would just pick up go back a little bit, because you were jumping out as well, and just, you know, you was talking where we're wired, and basically the conditioning, the conditioning of doing stuff, you know, what other people tell us.
Yeah, I mean, I was really making the point that if you boil down all of the world's issues to one fundamental cause, it's that we're each divesting our inherent power over all matters of our lives to others, politicians, lawyers, doctors, teachers. And we're wired that way. It's part of this conditioning. But there becomes, even when we start waking up, to what we call waking up nowadays, there's this propensity to blame something else, this media machine, or the way we were educated for it. And even then, now we're putting something else in between us and our own sovereignty, our own power. Doesn't matter, we've been taught to do it, so we'll wake up and now we'll still blame someone else. And so New Earth seeks to address this problem more than anything else. The very core of the project is sovereignty. That's reclaiming power over your own life in the first instance, and really then evolving beyond that to a point where you become a conduit for the natural expression of the inherent sovereignty of the universe that's all around us. That, if I was to sum up the New Earth project and what it is all about, would be its alpha and omega.
Yeah, wonderful. So, and it's really about, yeah, it's not even necessarily like you say that we're using these terms wake up, but it's really seeing that you are part of this magnificent gift of life, you know, the whole shebang, the whole mystery of it, and that you're not owned by anyone or anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, you go deep enough down that rabbit hole, and you don't realize you're not just part of it; you're all of it.
Yeah.
In every single molecule of this existence is existing entirely within us, and that power that gives us when we really realize that is immeasurable.
Yeah.
It can sound very esoteric and woo-woo to even speak these words, but there's nothing spiritual about it.
Yeah.
The fact that we are at our core spirit is not a spiritual concept. It's just a fact of existence that's accessible to everyone. I think there's this mixed up idea that people have about enlightenment and self-realization, that it has anything to do with mysticism, and it doesn't. It's the most boring and mundane thing in the world, and mysticism is great and fun. It's one of the most beautiful things to explore as an incarnate being in this realm of existence, but has nothing to do with us waking up to who and what we are and getting back to reality.
Yeah, I like that. And so yeah, let's stay on this a bit before we just go to, you know, where you're at right now with it, because I love this what's arising. So from that I'm going to be very choosy my words, because I say from that perspective, from that understanding, from that truth, you know, it's like, but just from that, just having that, knowing that, so, you know, you are all that is, and all that ever was, and all that ever will be, and you are that. And that is so hard to grasp for so many people, as we know, and that seems to be like a language, like you said, that's, forget language, it's rippling through. Just seems to be the human species, right? Because ultimately nature knows it, everything else knows it. But for some reason we didn't know it, or we knew it, we forgot, and all that jazz of like, oh, we forgot about it, taken away with us, we were controlled, etc. Do you want to just speak a little bit to that? As like why so many people, you mentioned that to them, and they just think that me and you have probably taken way too many mushrooms.
Yeah, well, we've just got a slightly more developed ego than most of the creatures. The fact is, it's not a difficult thing. It's people may become aware of this as an intellectual concept, and they wonder why am I not actually realizing it? Why is this not actually impacting my life? And it's the realization of these things is the simplest thing, and it occurs at the moment in time that you decide that I have to know this truth more than I have to protect my own identity and status and stuff and all the other bullshit that goes with it. The moment you value the truth more than you value everything else in your life, then your life becomes an expression of that. That's the only single rule to it. So if people that are out searching for it haven't quite found it yet, it's just because they still value their own identities and the things attached to them more than they value the truth. And as soon as that changes, as soon as the value shift, it's there. It's that easily accessible.
Yeah, sometimes when that word "found" as well is like, I sometimes, I'm sure you've had this on your own many conversations and so on. This idea of when people say, oh, I'm looking for something, and there is like you are seeking. I'm being a seeker, of course, and still am constantly seeking out the truth in every day. You know, I'm like making sure I'm innocently finding that little seed of truth each day, and often not finding it. But I say to people sometimes, almost you're seeking something, you're looking for something to find, but you also paradoxically have to stop trying to find something, right? Well, yeah. That's been my sort of like dance of it, because the minute you're trying to find something, you can't find the damn thing anyway. You know, when you're looking for your cards, you just can't find them, and then you sit down and they were underneath your scarf all along. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And it's both of these things at once. It's always been both of these things at once.
Yeah.
And it's not even a paradox. It just seems that way.
Yeah. Interesting. It's not even a It's not even a paradox. It just seems that way. So we then label it as a paradox.
We're trying to reconcile it from this perspective, where there's there's me and there's other. There's, you know, I'm existing as a thing in relationship to other things, and so then there's a paradox because there's this whole duality that's going on. But if you kind of let go of that idea, that's holding that reality framework together, there's no paradoxes anymore. It's just the way it is.
Ah, right. So yeah, so the paradox you're saying is because based on the duality, based on us trying to uphold so many different identities and then being confused with what is actually real and what's not real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So really we're just dancing in a big soup of, at times, confusion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless you're not. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then try to find some clarity in it, and along the way, murdering a load of people and arguing and getting angry and just like ripping the arse out of the planet, thinking that we need stuff that we don't need, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. All really emotionally, like any of it mattered in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, and you didn't need any of it in the first place because you were all of it anyway.
Exactly. Funny, it's a real joke, you know. This whole because I see this whole one of the questions you get asked all the time is, well, but what if the powers that be do, you know, regain their control, and you know, how can you be so certain this is all happening? I say, well, because it's already a done deal. And one, it doesn't matter. Two, it's already a done deal. And three, you are the center of the universe. You're the one that's creating this reality for yourself anyway. So it's whatever you say it will be. It's not it's these simple truths that are the most difficult to grasp, but that's where we find ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, and then I always use the term simplicity is divinity.
Mm.
I love that in terms of it's always so simple, and whatever the mind, ego, whatever you want to label, the thing that's going on in your head sometimes gets to that point, and it won't allow it to be simple. It just won't allow it. It's like, I'm more intelligent than this. I'm more intelligent than this. It can't be this simple.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just there's no there's no rules that like that voice is going to stop doing those things when you have that. As you go through this journey, the question is just watching it, and it's like this whole other little animal that's scurrying around in there trying to sow seeds of discontent. It's quite funny every time it speaks. It's quite funny to have a bit of a giggle at what's going on in your head. I mean, laugh at yourself. It's not you anyway.
Yeah, don't take life so seriously.
Yeah.
What comes up for me as we're talking is that, you know, this idea of what's really hard, I think, for humans, and I say this speaking for myself, is that the minute that I ever think I know something, like I've got it, I've grasped it, that is it. I often think, hold up, I'm discerning of my own crap here, I don't know anything. And then when I don't know anything, it opens up the space for me to actually allow in anything that might be potentially of any knowing come through. So I think where people where people drop short, it feels that they go, I'm not creating all of this as if I could create all of this. These guys are crazy, you know. What do they think? They think they've worked something out, you know. And this whole like dialogue goes on in their head, and you know, and yeah, I'm just that was just coming up because I know that there's so many people saying how it is, and ultimately it is all of that all at once.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are generally becoming more receptive to the possibility that there's something outside of their own reality framework. So it's timely to have conversations like this. But I've been alienating people for close on a decade now, so I'm okay with doing a little bit more of that.
Sorry, say that last bit, because you
do some more alienating with you, Simon.
No, sorry, I lost that. Say that last bit. I'm okay with, and I lost you.
I said I think I've been alienating people for about a decade now, so I'm okay with doing it for a little bit longer.
Hold that. Beautiful. I'm just going to shut this door so I can hear you really well. So just mindful of, you know, I know we could dive and dance around in wherever we go. But yeah, what's based on what's been shared so far, and where we're you know, where we are today with what's arising, what's coming up for you now, what's coming up for you at the moment, to just share.
Okay, well, I don't know if anyone listening is really that familiar with New Earth, but where it's amongst other things is a kind of full spectrum socio-economic restorative blueprint that pulls together really a decade and a half of connections and plans and ideas into one cohesive initiative. So I mean, at the heart of this is New Earth Nation, which as much as anything is an idea. I mean, you think of just the same way as the United Kingdom or the United States are ideas, and we come to know them as jurisdictions and imbue them with power, and then this government rises up out of them and wields power. So ideas have an awful lot of power. So too, New Earth Nation can be likened to that, really, but with an entirely different ethos behind it. So it exists and will exist when we fully launch this, or take it to its next stage of launch around January, as is founded by a treaty event. So until now, it's only nation states. You hear of treaties. You know, treaties are something that exist in international law. Nations treaty with each other. It's never really been an opportunity before for men and women to treaty directly. And you say that international law is natural law, with treaties appended to it. So there's this inner yearning, I think, in a vast proportion of the population now to return to a more natural existence, natural law. And New Earth Nation is essentially the opportunity to do that. There's a treaty event that's founded in that natural ethic, and is inviting everyone from individual men and women to community groups to indigenous tribes and nations to existing nation states, if they want to actually realign their intentions and who they are, to enter what is really a covenant of fellowship, as a platform, and a way in which we can explore as a species for the very first time the idea of individual sovereign expression in the aggregate. Because there's so many people now around the planet where there's this sovereignty conversation's gone a long way, and people are really getting a handle on this now. It is becoming a big conversation, and it is making big waves throughout the political landscape. But now we're at this point where, how do we explore that self-governance, self-determination in the aggregate? You know, there's you there, Simon, and me here. We're sovereign, or we're expressing sovereignty through ourselves as we go further and further through this journey. What happens when we want to interact with each other now? How is this going to occur en masse? Between you and me, it's very simple. But en masse, when there's millions of people with different beliefs and perspectives all around the world, how do we explore self-determination, aggregate self-determination? And that's what New Earth Nation is, really. It's inviting that. So it has, within the Micronation portal, which we'll be launching in around about January, it has built in a direct e-democracy platform, which is purposed specifically to bring up all these conversations on all of the crucial points. You know, what does everyone actually feel as we're stepping back into this more sovereign expression? How is everyone feeling, or how is the aggregate of these people wanting to look towards their own global governance, if you like? So if we as a species get that right, everything else follows. There's no real need for us to be talking about how how we fix health and education systems and everything else. It will just unfold fractally from that perfect note of perfection that we set as a species in ourselves. The rest will just happen and flower from that.
Yeah.
So that's why it's really the core of our efforts at the moment, is to create the platform to facilitate that.
Yeah, and facilitate and allow the conversations and in these deep diving dialogues that are needed in order to see through the the indoctrinations and the programs and so on, and then reattune to the frequency of you're calling sovereignty and what maybe I've termed in the past as self-love, self-trust, and just coming back to that full ownership that you're the grand creator of your reality. It's that similar way of terming it. And transparent communication for me is that language. I mean, I call it the language of love, but it's that language that accepts all diversity, and that in that circle, in that space, we're all equals anyway. There's no need for because often the need for leaders and domination and so on is when we're caught in that other fragmented, lost self.
Yeah, for sure. And you see, it applies with everything. Because we were talking about truth before, and people say, "Well, yeah, okay, but it's not this." And so that what you're talking about there, and how we interact, create that circle of love, essentially.
Yeah.
It has to apply to everything. It applies to the police officers and those people in our lives that are perhaps a little more misguided. That we might say, yeah, but they're not. But that's not it. I don't have to apply it there. And that's where you've got to go and apply it most. Now, most people have a fear. See, authority is a really great subject to discuss because most people have a fear over it. It's been ingrained. And it's a surface fear. It's so obvious. And as part of this journey, the thing I realized at an early age was you have to run at your fears. You face them, you overcome them, and you become really seriously empowered. And once you've done it once, you can go and do it again. It's almost like an addiction, which you then need to wean yourself off as well, of course. But but like with police and authority, it's a really good crucible for people to engage with, because can you bring love to that situation, and how do we apply the spirit, the truths that we're realizing as we go through this journey to that real world situation. I mean, we get taught to answer questions is a large part of things. You get a badge, you put your hand up in class, and you get the answer right. It becomes ingrained in us, so we happily get pulled over by a police officer for speeding or for whatever it is, and we'll answer our questions. We'll do his bidding. But as we walk this path, you might start to realize that, well, actually, there's not much I know for sure, if anything. I thought I knew this, but do I really? And it brings with it a great sense of humility, like a lot of humility. And you apply that, you approach these real world situations with that same level of humility, same innocence of a child, not knowing anything. It allows you to open up and see the humanity in the people you're dealing with. Yeah. And this is where I forget where this quote is from, but those who are the hardest to love are the ones that need it the most. And you bring that into that situation, and it gives you an opportunity to change that a heart and mind of another human being in front of you. And it happens with, for me, this art came with questioning. To be where you are now, Simon, you've asked a lot of questions. You must have asked a lot of questions for that first chink to come. You only find any real wisdom in life when we ask questions. And people only ever teach us real wisdom when they ask us questions. They don't preach to us. And so the same thing comes here. It's almost like when you're dealing with that outer world, not only are the questions the key to our freedom in terms of being beyond that jurisdiction, being essentially untouchable or invisible to that realm, it's also the best those people around us. And you find that within 2 minutes that those any agent.
Hold that. Yeah. Go on. I lost you. You was in a lovely flow. You got to you got to something about the children, and I lost you.
Oh, it's difficult for me to recap from that.
Okay, don't worry. Just there were after the Just carry on.
I think I was talking generally about questioning things.
Yes.
With the innocence of a child.
Yeah.
And we find that when you take this out into the world, it provides all the space we need. One, to become essentially invisible to that world. So now you really see this sovereignty come through, this innate power that we have, because you become invisible to that world. You can start to conduct yourself according to your conscience instead of fear of reprisal. And it shifts everything around. And it all happens because of questions. You know, they've been the key to everything. They were the key to your own growth. They're the key to you facilitating that in others. They're the key to everything. And so you take authority figures and you start asking them questions, and you find that within just a couple of minutes, you will be asking the questions, they will be answering. And this whole energy has shifted. And to the whole the whole game that was initiated or that someone is trying to perpetrate, that just falls apart entirely. If there was one tip that I could give to every human being to help them in their lives apply their own growth in this world, it is to question.
Yeah. Question everything and question the question you just asked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's such a lovely, I'm glad that this whole and what you just expressed there came through, because it really is the way that you pull yourself out of the welds that you felt so confined by. And you know, I often use the term, as people know, that when I ask those questions and pull myself out of multiple welds of identity, I realized that I was in this invisible prison because my thoughts and my questions were so limiting. You know, I literally was asking the same en masse questions, you know, so I was creating and being a part of the same reality created from that. And I love what you said earlier about how, you know, whatever, any state, United States, UK, it's all an idea, and that collectively we can create this new, well, not that we can, we both know that it's already merging, regardless of whether you and I, are here tomorrow or not. Yeah, it's already well and truly flowing through now, is this idea of this love mean, you know, this circle of true transparency, sovereignty, love. The way that I'm experiencing circles of communication as I just come out of this 7-day retreat, the first one that I just put together. Wow, that's just, I mean, I'm not even going to talk about it now because I want us to talk more about the New Earth Project, but I'm just sat here today and I'm like, what just happened these last 7 days, Greg? All I know is it's that full realization, what you're saying, that it happens in here, and then naturally you're just creating it. You're part of that unfolding out there, you know. And people were just getting it through questions and questioning themselves, you know, and then going, oh my God, you know, I don't have to see myself like this. I'm not unworthy. I'm not this X, Y, and Z, you know. So really, really powerful, the questioning, for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful to watch it unfold around you, and people just have those moments of clarity as well, and it's happening so fast now.
Yeah, yeah, it's such a joy. So, Greg, I'd love you to, because you said in February, and I know you have quite a really good following, but obviously we're always wanting more and more people to come in. So, like, if somebody's out there and you know, with the New Earth Project, they want to get involved, they're even ready, they're even you know, they've done the questions at that place where they're like, they want to get into community, they want to be with other like-minded souls and people and having these conversations themselves and moving themselves out of society as we sort of know it, as it's crumbling more and more. What's your sort of, how would you speak to that?
Well, it's been a problem for us as an organisation up to now, because everyone comes in, and we've been we're proponents of removing the middleman, and yet people come to us, and then you make connections, and you end up becoming a middleman, and that's the last thing we want. So, I mean, the web and IT is the crucial part of this, really. And so, what we've actually designed and is now complete and ready for launch, we're just waiting for the propitious moment to do so, is a community portal. And it's really a replacement for Facebook. Facebook and its algorithms have decimated the alternative conscious communities and community groups with their algorithms. And so we've created this alternative space for social networking. But it's social networking with a purpose. It's specifically geared towards the creation and promulgation of community projects and initiatives. And so that's anything from the creation of a physical community project on land for people to go and live together in community, or to a local permaculture initiative, for example, in London, or to anything that's community based. So it has groups that function very much like the whole group metric works on Facebook, but we have some other features to be added in the new year, which include like a VoIP plugin, so it's like merging Skype with Facebook kind of thing, allow people to actually connect more fully. But the idea is really that this is catalyzing the creation of physical communities as its ultimate goal. And you see, as all these people are, I use the term waking up, I hate it, but as all these people are waking up, people are in their little pockets, and they have small groups of people in their local community, but there's this yearning to be together. It's why everyone's talking about creating community right now, because everyone just wants to be with like-minded people. Right. And this is really the platform. This platform was designed specifically to allow that to happen. So, social network that connects you as a group, but then as you come together as a group, maybe you're initially a landowner that wants to get this going, or you're just a group that's looking for that. You find each other on there. You put your pin on the map, create your profile, and each community profile from there actually has essentially its own website built into the system. It has its own blog, space for its own master plan and home designs. If you want to sell community homes, you can actually do it as a marketplace through there. Post events and opportunities and everything else besides. So it's like this nexus point for community creation. We will be launching that sometime during the month of January. And we really invite people in there to come there and begin exploring the possibilities that emerge. With us as an organization taken out of the middle, just a free platform, go for it. This is the social experiment that we all need to engage in at this time. Beautiful, and that's where, yeah, then like you said, you're not a middle person, and then people can start having a real, maybe there can be more key questions, as we just said, and real conversations of meaning, of how it can really form and how people can come together in that more, yeah, just that more purposeful way, serving that bigger vision as well. Yeah, and so obviously as an organization we have picked one in particular remarkable opportunity for the birth of a community project, which we're our first team members landed there a week ago, in fact. So we and there will be others of those, a handful of those that we do kind of lead, if you like, as exemplars for what's possible. But the last thing we want to be is a choke point here. This is an empowerment initiative to have people do it themselves. So then there's the New Earth Institute and all these different components of New Earth that plug those resources into the New Earth Community Portal. You need a design kit for a sacred geometry dome home. It plugs into the community portal. It's offered by the design and development faculty. Download it, free resources and tools for your community group to utilize. So that's how we've framed this as much as anything else. Yeah. And there's other ways that people can get involved as well if they really want to. You know, we will be launching in spring an ambassador program, so people can with some really usable resources, so people can really spread this. Only use words that don't make this sound like we're missionaries here, because that's the last thing it's all about. But it gives people toolkits as ambassadors to go into areas and catalyze sovereign communities. So anyone that wants to get involved in that, reach out to us, connect with us now. We'll look to do that in the new year. And there's many ways. If people have specific talent, maybe you're an IT developer, you just want to volunteer, really support this initiative, please do get in touch.
Yeah, and obviously they can get in touch through the website and at the moment Facebook. But so that what's going to be the name? You said it. The name of the new social platform that's merging in January time.
It's New Earth Community.
New Earth Community, lovely.
Yeah,
I like it. I've always been looking. A few have popped up. Upriser. I don't know if you've heard of Upriser, and there's a few others out there that have popped up to be pulling away from, like you said, the algorithms of just these big, older version. I'm not taking anything away from Facebook, because I've utilized it and I'm connected to you and know about you through that. So, but it's lovely to hear that there's one maybe a little bit more, just a little bit more on purpose, maybe, as opposed to just getting distracted too much on there, or knowing that you can go to specific places and connect with the people that are in your circle, almost like mastermind groups,
Yeah. I mean, the whole point here is that life and we as individuals and life is infinitely intelligent, and that's why the web's been so amazing, because it actually just can't be controlled. So it self-organizes things very well. It's accelerated this evolutionary point in an unprecedented fashion. And so now...
1 minute, I lost you. For the live viewers out there, and if you're on playback, bear with me. I'm not going to do a dance this time. So smile at you. Until it comes back. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you back. Sorry about that.
No, don't be sorry. Carry on.
The downside of being in the jungle.
Yeah, that's okay. It's worth being in the jungle. Okay, so don't worry about where we lost off, because go into the one that the initial, the people have landed, and you're gonna do some, maybe create a couple of not just prototypes, but like functioning communities, right? That's what you want to create. And what are you thinking? How many people would that potentially be for in the beginning?
Well, the piece of land that the project itself is including indigenous communities who are inviting our support and participation. In fact, up to 14 of them in a massive piece of land, which is probably approaching half the size of Wales. So there is really no limitation to where we can take this particular project. It is why we selected it. There's local government support, which means we don't have to do too much picket line stuff or creating any. The energy's just flowing there very well. So there's really no limitation to where we can take it. And the intention is to, with this and probably a couple of other projects besides, to really throw everything we have at those initiatives, to make them exemplars, to bring the best scientists in the network there, best healers, the best everyone that wants to participate and can create that exemplar, and then to create a big media effort around it as well, to actually make sure we document things, because this is part of the problem with this this awakening humanity, is that we've not as a group yet mastered the art of communication the same way that the existing news channels have. They have this documentation thing down and that well, that they need very few outlets in order to successfully control humanity with that limited resource. We could just harness a little bit of the media capacity that we have. I mean, this is what you're doing, Sam, of course, and fantastic job of it. We can all do that a little bit more and a little bit more effectively. This is going to, things are going to speed up significantly.
Yeah, I agree fully. Even myself, I've thought that so many times, that often some real pertinent conversations that I've listened to and watched, and even some on TED Talks, and definitely with the ones that I've explored, and I look and they've got like maybe 50,000 views, and I'm like 50,000 views, like that's cool, and then you go and watch like some stupid thing and it's got like 70 million or 7 million. You're just like, wow, what's going on? How can we get? And often people go, yeah, but a conversation, it's an hour. I don't have an hour, and I'm like, you don't have an hour. You might need 50 hours or 60 hours or 70 hours to really digest what is being said here, And I think maybe it's also about the mentality still for many people, is that because sometimes what's coming through, the information is sometimes hard to assimilate and digest,
Yeah. I mean, these different formats and different length formats work for different things. There's a couple of years in your life as you go through it, this where you're open to listening to something that's going to last an hour, and then you maybe kind of move beyond that. But there's like different length things. It's a very complex human psychology that we all need to learn and understand a bit more, I think. So.
Yeah, I agree. I agree fully. And like you said, you began the conversation, which is always, I love it when conversation goes full circle, but you did begin and said, and just want to remind this to the people listening, is even if you're new to anything that myself and Greg have been sharing today, and some of it all sounds a bit crazy, is that there's millions of people. I think there was some guy, I can't remember his name, that wrote a book because he went on an exploration, Greg, to find out if this whole revolution of love is real or it's just another, sort of gimmick. And he went on a mission around the world, and I think he said that there was 200 million organizations that are doing what you said at the beginning, like trying to spread good vibes, permaculture, whatever, just the truth is coming through in so many different places. And okay, it might seem distorted sometimes, but when you really look and open your eyes, your tribe, we are all out there, and with arms open, ready to have these conversations. I was wondering, Greg, maybe because I'm mindful you got to go soon, but I was wondering if we could come up on this conversation with a new word for waking up. I know we've heard plugged in. we've heard plugged in.
Unplugged in.
No, like it's like you plug in again, you reconnect. But these are all like been used before. But I was wondering, because I know what you mean. It's everyone's saying, "Oh, he's waking up," but it's not the greatest word. But still, I thought that would be a good title for the video.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, I'll get back to you with that, and we can we'll rename this YouTube video.
Yeah. Come back to me with a new word. So, I feel like we've covered a lot there, and there's a lot for people to digest.
Yeah, I mean, I think just like you were talking about coming back full circle and what you said there about the 200 million even organizations and individuals that are in one way or another pushing this, or working towards that same collective vision, really. And all New Earth has done is perhaps articulate that vision reasonably well and put itself out there as a platform to unite. So if you're one of them 200 million organizations, Jesus, just get in touch with us, connect, and we're not the most organized organization in the world, but we're getting there. And with everyone else's help, we become that one unified voice. So reach out, get in touch, and let's take this thing onto a whole new level.
Yeah. Let's have a like I'm buzzing. I mean, I've obviously just been on a big buzz. It's like I'm so buzzing and these conversations. I want to thank you. You know, thank you for showing up today and having these conversations, because I hate saying this, but I'm going to say it. We're going to have to find some new words. I'm telling you, but this whole "it's happening." You know, there's a joke going around at the moment on YouTube of a fun video, and like every now and again people just stop and go, "It's happening, it's happening," you know, and there's like this whole funny take on it. But when you are looking and you're seeing and you're speaking to people like yourselves and so many other people that what a time. The internet came, what, 20, 25 years ago, and we're alive at this time when the reintegration birth of our sovereignty is coming through, and we can co-create from that space. It's like, wow. It's just, I'm just so like, I'm just each day.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Look at me, I'm going bright red.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say I've been really looking forward to this chat as well, Simon. I've been looking forward to this for a few days, so awesome to finally connect with you properly. Yeah,
big time, and I hope that we get to we have a hug, and I hope there's a sharing circle at some point along the way. I actually don't doubt there will be.
No, I'm sure you're right. Sooner than you think.
Yeah, for sure. So listen, I'm gonna say, yeah, I know I've said thank you, but I feel tingled, I feel filled up, and I'm gonna say have an amazing evening where you are, and yeah, let's stay in touch, and just thank you for and I know you're not even about owning this and so on, but just thank you for wherever your path got you to actually allow an idea like this to come through and to stick with it. And just, I know it's probably driving you, but nevertheless, it's a real inspiration and part of, it inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing, where I'm doing it. And I feel that we're all doing this together anyway, even if I'm not right over there right now and so on,
Yeah, I mean, thank you, man. I mean, we lift each other on this whole thing. If you weren't there doing what you're doing, it would make this meaningless. It wouldn't be being shared. It's it's this symbiotic relationship, and we're kind of standing on each other's shoulders. It's beautiful. So
yeah,
really, thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you to you, and taking care. I'm just going to say goodbye to the viewers that joined us live. Thank you, everybody. Hope you love that conversation, and please, like Greg just said, share it, pass it on, and find your tribes. They're out there. They could be under the scarf right next to you. Start looking. Please subscribe if you're enjoying these conversations, wherever you are in the world. Even if you're feeling really low, depressed, it's like, what is the way out? Just take a moment, breathe deeply, find some solitude, go somewhere in nature that feels great. Just sit, trust in yourself, and ask some real key questions. What am I? Who am I? What's my ultimate significance? What steps should I take next? What is real for me? Just tune into yourself and see what comes through. Until next time, take care. Sending love out there to you all.